Hey everybody, what's up? It's Devin LaVore and
Michelle LaVore
coming at you. 5 people with colds, 1 not. How do you not have a cold?
I don't know. I think it's because I eat spinach and stuff.
You know what? Her diet is spot on for all my English people out there. But seriously, man,
I still have like a slight like sniffles, but I've not gotten the full blown sickness like everybody else.
I'll tell you what, when did it hit us? Like Christmas Eve?
Yeah, I think
Christmas
the kids,
was just like, ugh.
Actually, I think it started a little before that, but it was like everybody started getting sick, and
I got hit with it real hard today, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. But then we got this word from the Lord, and we were like, oh, we have to share that.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't going to do a video. I was like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
But we didn't do a video yesterday, and I'm just like, well, we need to do a video today, right? And so I'm like, oh man, like, you want to tell them what happened the other day? Was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
So,
awesome.
You know, we got on Christmas Day, there was the Ryan Lestrange video about mega faith, and yesterday we were, again, moving to a different location. We're in a different hotel.
Now you see it?
And, but we had to drop off the van that we've been renting. Maybe some of you don't know, we have a car, but it only fits 5 people. We have 6, so we had to...
You do the math.
Rent a vehicle. But we're just like, okay, well, this time we'll just have to, like, rent a car, because we just, you know, can't do a van again. This is just way too much. And so yesterday we were, you know, doing our rounds, and I was in the car just by myself driving, and I was just like, Lord, like, I don't know if there is any way possible that we can somehow get to keep the van. I don't know. I didn't want to have to be in 2 separate cars, and the car that we have just really isn't very reliable. And
if that breaks down,
and if it breaks down,
we can still rent another car we can have 2 rental cars for less than half the price of this van. Yeah. It's just like, wow.
So, I was just, you know, just praying, like, Lord, please, like, that would just be so awesome. Somehow, maybe let us have a discount or something. So we get to the rental van place, and the guy that was doing the checking back in the van or whatever, he comes out, and he was just like, what did he say? He was just like, basically...
Well, when I was at the desk, I was at the counter, and he was like, well, you guys want to just keep the van? And I was like, we can't, man. I mean, we got the... And he was like, oh, no, I already see. I see you got the economy thing, you know, which is basically the lowest level rental you can get, the most inexpensive rental you can get. He was like, no, I see you got that, you know, we can give it to you for that price. I was like,
we're like, what? Really?
What?
We're like, are you sure? Like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I'll go talk to my manager, and, you know, I'm pretty sure she's going to say that's totally fine. And sure enough, we end up being able to keep the van
for a week.
For another week for the price we would have paid for an economy car.
And I got to tell him how much it costs. $333. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Go ahead and get your shout on. Yeah. $333. And not only that, but there's usually a $150 deposit on top of that, but he just cut it to $100. So in those things, you get back that stuff anyway. Yeah. So the grand total is going to be $333. Yeah. I was like, wow, if that's not the Lord saying, my favor is on this.
Yeah, so it was just totally awesome. We were so blessed.
It was mega favor. Because that's like...
Yeah, we did not expect that at all.
It's usually 4 times that much.
Yeah.
You know?
And so it was so awesome. We were just super excited.
Because you know how often you pray stuff and nothing happens. Yeah. You pray it with faith and believing and hoping, and it's just like, and then it doesn't happen, and you're just like, yeah. I guess it was just somebody doing just another word, and they're just, all right, whatever. I guess it's not for us. Yeah. One of those kind of things, you know?
All right. Got the baby.
Had to get him in there.
He's like, he was sleeping. We start the video, and he's like, hey, I'm awake. Can't do this without me.
I sense a video. There's a video going on.
So anyway, yeah.
Even
so
he's got a cold. This is his first cold ever.
Poor guy.
5.5 months. He's never had a cold.
Stuffy. But he's doing pretty good. And
Yeah, he is.
but then yesterday after we got the van, then we came back and we weren't supposed to be able to check in until 4 o'clock. And we were just like,
and it was like 10:30.
Yeah, we were just.
We were like,
yeah, it was like about a little after 12 when we got here.
Oh, when we got here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it was just like, oh my gosh, we really don't want to be out for having to just hang out for 4 hours. So we came and
that's right.
Devin went in and just asked like, hey, is it possible? And they were like, well, it would be an upstairs room that you'd have to get, you know, and all of that. And we're just, but we could check in now. We're like, we'll take it.
Yeah.
And so it was just really awesome. We just was like,
yeah.
Yes, this is such a blessing because we really didn't want to be toting around all the kids until 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know, trying to find a place to go wander around.
Yeah.
And
the place we got is like way better.
Yeah.
It's better than the other one because it's got vaulted ceilings.
Yeah, being upstairs, it just has a different feel to the room.
Really cool.
Even though they're all technically exactly the same.
They are.
But so it was just really cool. And then you can go ahead and...
Well, yeah, I was going to tell them about like how like during the very beginning of the day before any of this started, you know, I was concerned. I was concerned that I was going the wrong direction on the highway, and I felt like the Lord was like, "You're fine. You're going the right direction." And then He asked me. He was like, "So, like, so how did your kids sleep last night?" And He said that to remind, because I had prayed a prayer that my kids would just. I said, "Lord, could you please just do me this favor?" Because our sleep had been miserable for several nights, and it's just like, just one night, please. Just this one night we could, and all of us slept really good that night, and it was peaceful. We got rest, you know, and I felt like the Lord was trying to emphasize that by saying, "You asked, and I gave it." Right? Well, then last night, how the night ended is we were like super excited, and we learned a few lessons along the way about how excitement can kind of trip you up and get you excited about things that aren't really the Lord, but the Lord could still use that to show you some things and all that. But last night, man, we were just going after the Lord about why we came to Nashville in the first place, to live here in a certain kind of house and live a certain kind of lifestyle, because that's what we've been believing for and praying for and hoping for, like, you know, being led to all year. And so I prayed. I was like, "Lord, you want to know what I really want? I want to wake up tomorrow and everyone's perfectly healed, you know?" And I got up about 5:35 in the morning, you know, to go to the bathroom or whatever. And I was just like, okay, this is probably not going to happen.
Yeah. Had some coughing.
You know? But it was like, okay, I'm totally okay with it. Because it was used, that thing was used to kind of make me, you know, there's so many trigger points that can be used to send us back to a place of doubt and wonder and questioning and, well, what about I don't know about you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just like, no, I know there are just too many things that God has shared with us and told us, and we can use that, you know, use those prophetic words to war against the things that go on in our head or the things that come at us from the enemy. You know, and we both did that this morning.
Yeah.
Bam! We had to switch up again. So, in light of what happened last night, and it's interesting because we woke up today and it was a little bit difficult getting going, but it was just interesting because throughout the day, man, there's just been some relational just ground being broken up, like between me and Michelle, between us and the kids, and just like stuff that we've kind of maybe tolerated for a while. It's just like, we're not tolerating this anymore.
Yeah.
We are getting over this, and we are getting over this hump. Not that we're like fighting or arguing or anything like that. Not even close. It's just certain behaviors from your kids that you tolerate, and we're not tolerating anymore. And so I felt like, I was like, man, even today is kind of like a breakthrough day, but it's like an unexpected kind of a breakthrough day. And then in the midst of all of it, you know, I'm struggling against feeling like I'm a bad father, and it's like God's like, you know, I just feel the presence of the Lord just like resisting that. But then it was like, But he's been silent all day. We went back to downtown Nashville and to the, what was the hotel?
The Opryland, or the Gaylord Opryland
something hotel.
Yeah, where you can just
it's really
around.
Famous.
Yeah, and you can walk around inside, and it's pretty cool.
It was really awesome. And so like all day I was even asking Michelle, I was like, Michelle, have you like really heard anything from the Lord today? And she was like, no, not really. And I'm like, oh man. And I just knew, I was like, you know what, this is important. This is an important thing to have happen, because it showed me that there's still a part of me that gets insecure when the Lord's not speaking, or when something's not happening, or we're not getting a word or something like that. And it's just like, you know, we read just yesterday in Proverbs 10:22, it's the blessing of the Lord that makes truly rich, and he adds no toiling to it. So you can't do anything to earn it. You can't just, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to pray this, and I'm going to fast this way, and then I'm going to do it. You know, that's where that whole eat a cookie revelation came to Heidi Baker, because that's how she operated until she ate those 2 cookies. And she was like, oh my gosh, it's totally the Lord and his favor and his love. You know, it's not about me having to do something, because the day before that, I was really feeling like, Lord, I got this subtle peeling of the layer back to see, like, there's a part of my heart that I don't necessarily address all the time, but like, I feel like there's still some part of my heart there that feels like I have to do something to earn the blessing, and that's why it's not happening or whatever. Yeah. And God's like, nope, nope. and I'm like, okay. And so at the end of this night, I had just kind of relinquished to the fact that, you know what, God loves me, and that's just the bottom line. Yeah. I'm not going to let this lack of abundant download from heaven, you know, keep me from have it steal, because that's what it'll do. That insecurity will come in and it will steal the truth from you, you know. And so as we were after we got done, we were doing our God time, and we got done with what was it? We got done with worship, and you were looking for something to read. And then I was just struck with the idea of the syrophoenician woman. And I was like, this lady, it's in, where was it?
It's in
Matthew 15:22 through 28. And I was like, this lady went through 3 separate tests from the Lord himself. It wasn't that he didn't want to heal her. Maybe he just, by the Holy Spirit, he knew, wow, this lady's got some great faith. Let's bring it out of her. You know, because she cried out like, my daughter's possessed by a demon. Normally that would be like, oh, let me jump on that. Jesus didn't say anything at first. No. He just kept going. And
it was for wow, because his disciples were actually like, hey, Jesus, like, tell this lady to leave. Like, they were basically annoyed by her, because like, she was probably just like crying out over and over, like, teacher, like, come.
Yeah, like, come on, man. Like, just we're not trying to tell you what to do, but, you know. But, and then, so the second time she came, she was like, have mercy on me, which is a big thing for us. It's a big thing for us the last 6 months or so.
Yeah.
God's like, I'm going to have mercy on you. And so he cried out again, and he said, what did he say? Oh, I've only come to the lost sheep of Israel. And then he kept going. And then she came and threw herself down in front of him a third time. And he was like, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but you're a dog. These are the children. You're like the puppy that's wanting scraps from the table. You know, it's like, and basically she was like, yeah, at least we can get some scraps. Can I get some scraps? You know? And he was like, wow, you're amazing. Now see, that's not like a response you would expect from someone who ignored you, said you're not worthy, and then called you a dog. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so what am I trying to say? What do I get from all that from tonight? I felt like the Lord was saying there are certain tests and challenges and obstacles that God himself places in front of you to see if you're going to keep going after the thing that you know is his will to do. The only reason she came to him is because she knew he did that kind of thing.
Yeah.
She knew, like, wow, he delivers from demons. He cleanses lepers. He does things that no one else can do. You know, Lana Vosser came out with the word a long time ago. It was like, God is about to do what only he can do. And we've been waiting on that for a while, but we know that's a word from the Lord. It's like it's going to come in its own timing. But but it was like, wow, it's just like that word that she gave. Like, she knew that only Jesus can do what I need done.
Yeah.
And he wasn't trying to do it. So in her mind, you have to understand the culture of her mind. Everything that he said was true. But she's like, I don't care. This is what I need.
Yeah.
Do it, please. Whatever. Have mercy on mercy. That's what mercy's about. Like, just please. You know what I mean? Begging. She came begging. Yeah. She was tortured in soul, the scripture said. And so he was like, wow, great is your faith. May it be done unto you as you wish. Go, your daughter's healed right now. Yeah. The demon's gone right now. And it's like, I feel like there's things that God places in our lives on purpose to bring out that great faith that he sees in us. And it's like, I just see him doing that with us right now. It's like, oh, you want the mega faith? Okay, cool. Let's have some mega tests. And it's like, oh, Lord. But it's like, because like today, I felt like today was just a test.
Yeah.
Where God was silent. We're going through the silent part. Oh, Lord. We're going through the silent part. Does that mean we're going to go through 2 more? Can we, Lord, if it's possible, can this cup pass from us?
But today definitely was a test of like
security in the Lord.
Security in him. And we actually were talking about that earlier tonight. Of just like how it's like, you know what, I think that this really was just,
you keep going, baby.
Was a test, it was because Devin was just like, like what is going on? And I was just like, I said, well, I think that it like God wants us to be secure in who we are in him. And sometimes that's going to require him to not say something because he can't constantly be assuring us and reassuring us. He wants us to be able to walk with just knowing, based off of a word that he's spoken, that we can go forward. And I was just thinking about like with kids, like you don't, you want to encourage them, but it would just be terrible if like every time your son, daughter, start, they're walking and you have to always say, good job, you were doing so well, keep going. It's like, that's not normal. Like, you're not going to be, they walk, you can say, hey, I need you to go to the car, they can go to the car, I need you to, walk down the road this way, and they can go based off of what you've said. And, you don't have to constantly be like,
yelling out the window, you're doing great.
Yeah, or it's like,
look at you walking that sidewalk. Go on, do it. Do your thing.
And so I just feel like God, he's like, he's always with us, but he also wants us to walk in confidence where it's like we've gotten a word from the Lord and we are able to stand firm on that word whether or not we're getting more words added onto it and more. And that was really our day today. It's like, can we stand firm on what God has spoken without getting blown over into a place of, oh my gosh, like
negative emotional storm.
Isn't saying anything, and that means that maybe we've like what's happened,
So what it's like, isn't it? But see, the cool part, I feel like it's almost like a finality of that issue for me, because I was able to, something happened in me today that I don't know that I can explain on the video, but it's like the Lord hasn't had to do that with me for a while. But then it's like, because like he's been doing those rest days.
He has.
And it's just like, man, I don't like these rest days, but it's cool. But it's like today I was really not wanting one of those days. I was really wanting to be close with my dad. I needed him, but it was, the Lord was like, I feel like the Lord was saying without saying it, is like, you've got me. I'm already here. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to. And for me, I wasn't being afraid. I was really actually coming out of a lot of fears. I was breaking off a lot of like bondages, right? I mean, I was breaking off a lot of stuff. I was just like, I am tired of being this. I'm just going to be who I am, and that's just going to have to be enough. And because a lot of times I soften my husbandism. I soften my fatherhood approach because I don't want to damage my kids, or I don't want to hurt Michelle's feelings or something like that. But I just felt like the Lord was showing me, He's like, you're actually doing the thing that you're trying not to do.
Yeah.
If you would just be who I've made you to be. I haven't made you to be a chisel, I've made you to be a hammer. So you got a hammer, bro. Don't be trying to groove things and shave. That's not what you're called to do. Mm-hmm. You got to do what you're called to do. It's the only way you're going to glorify God is by being who God has made you to be.
Yeah.
Fully being who God made you to be. And I was like, but today showed me that there was still something there to that, you know?
Yeah. So something else that I also got from tonight with when we were doing our God time and talking about the how do you say her? Syrophoenician.
Oh, the syrophoenician.
Syrophoenician woman.
The syrophoenician.
Anyway, I was just, it reminded me of when Jesus spoke about like that men take heaven.
Yeah. From the days of John the Baptist until the present, the kingdom of God has suffered violence, and violent men take it by force.
Yeah. And so we went
Matthew
and read
11:12.
it. Yes, Matthew 11:12. And so we were reading that, and I was just like, that's what that woman had. She had this like violent, like she was going after it, and she's like, I am getting my reward from heaven, my reward from God, which is that my daughter is going to be healed.
Yes.
And I just felt like it's like that is when you're talking about having mega faith, having that kind of just faith. It
How
really
to get
is.
that miracle.
It's like you've got to be just like, I am going after this. I'm going to be asking for bread until 3 o'clock in the morning, until my neighbor comes and it's like, okay, here's your bread. You know?
I know you got it in there.
Yeah.
It's like the widow and the unjust judge. Same thing.
It's like we're just going to just keep going, keep knocking, keep asking, keep seeking. And it's like when we're doing that, God is seeing that as like, wow, great is their faith. Because you are constantly coming after this thing. Constantly, like no matter what's going on, you're constantly coming to me. You're constantly asking me. You're constantly believing the things that I've spoken into your heart. And so it was just, for me, I was like, all right, like that's what we're doing. That's why we're here. We are here to receive the promises that God has spoken to us. We are here to receive the reward and the recompense and the work that He has for us. And
the provision, the possession, and the prophecy.
Yeah.
All of that.
And just the increase in all of that God is doing. And so many people, it's, there has been just, we know that what God is going to do is something huge. It's huge. So that's just what we are going after. And we are going after the very things that God has spoken to us. We're continuing to hold on to those promises. We are continuing to stand firm in front of the door, waiting for those doors to blow open. And
he's focused
so
on your hands. Your hands keep moving, and he's like, "Oh."
So we just hope that this is encouraging to you guys. We were very encouraged yesterday when we felt like it was just like, wow, like God has given us favor. And
wait, there's more.
Of course there is.
Remember the 3 days that we went through of the separation and all that stuff or whatever? And then it says in creation, it says on the third day after the separation, the dry ground appeared.
Yeah.
And then in Noah's story, Noah in Genesis 8:14 it says the ground was entirely dry, and then the Lord let him out. In verse 18, right? Or he spoke to him after it was entirely dry. Then he spoke to him to come out, right? So it was like we just felt like that's what was going on the last couple of days. It was like the ground, or like during Christmas and during the day after or whatever. It was like the ground is entirely dry, And so it was like, and then we got that word, the word of mega faith, and it was just like when we saw what happened yesterday, or was it yesterday?
Yeah.
When we saw what happened yesterday, I felt like those were like just the first little shoots of God's manifested grace upon our lives. Not some spiritual thing. It's like now it is coming from the spirit into the natural. And are you hungry? And we just thought like, wow, this is really actually happening. Like the manifestation of the promises is upon us. Yes, I said it, upon us. And we just want to encourage you guys to keep going after God. Don't be like Jairus and be like, oh, the promise is dead. It's the end of the year. The promise is dead. Don't bother the master anymore. No, you better bother him. Because even Jesus was like, no, Jairus. No. Only believe, brother. Only believe. Come on, let's go get this thing done. You know, Jesus had to be like, because if it wasn't for Jesus, oh man, woo! If it wasn't for Jesus himself, Jairus would have given up right at that moment. Why am I smacking you on the shoulder? I don't know. But seriously, it's like a lot of times we want to give up because we feel like, according to our own understanding, that it's no longer possible. But that's what that mega faith thing that Ryan Lestrange released. He was like, God's taking taking you from the realm of impossible to possible. You know, things that seem impossible are going to be possible to you. And I felt like even before we moved out here, God showed me this vision of me walking, and there would be water like right in front of me. But I took a step, and it was almost like the water just moved away from my foot. Kind of like the same polarities of a magnet; they can't come together or whatever, however that works. But it's like, and I would take another step, and then the water would move away again. And I was like, oh, I'll take a whole bunch of that if that's going to actually work. You know, and it was one of those visions I knew was from the Lord. You know, I knew I was like, well, that's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
You know, that's not something I doubt. It's like, that's going to happen. So it's like, even if it's obstacles that come from the Lord himself because he sees something great in you that he's trying to get out of you, maybe this can be an encouragement to you that, hey, Jesus saw something great in that syrophoenician woman, and he was just trying to get it out of her. Because he wanted to give her more. Listen, he wanted to give her more than just a healed daughter. He wanted to give her a healed heart. To let her know that he was not passing her by. That she was worthy. And that he's dying to make her a child of the table as well. Not just some Canaanite that's out of covenant with God. He's like, my death is going to involve everybody coming to the table. You see? So it's more, a lot of times what God has in mind to give you is even more than what you're going after him for. I'm preaching to us. Okay?
Always.
I mean, I'm just getting this right now. Like, well, where you been all day? No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah, so God is with us. God is with you all the time, every day. Doesn't matter how you feel. Doesn't matter what you're going through. Doesn't matter what the challenges are. And some of the challenges that you guys are facing are pretty intense and real. I would encourage you guys to maybe listen to that song, ABBA, I Belong to You. I'll link it below. It's really cool because he's talking about when the pressure is real, it's like your presence is greater. And the bottom line is, I belong to you, and you take care of what belongs to you. So, you know, we're good for the long videos. The long encouragements, the long prophetic words. But, yeah, we just hope that this has been an encouragement to you guys, and to keep going after, like, see the way he keeps going after my face. It's just like, he's like, Dad, hey, I'm hungry. I'm hungry, and you can't supply me, so we need to end this video. Okay? So,
until next time, guys, we'll see you later.
All right. Bye-bye, guys. We love you.